Hi, everybody. I'm back. It's been over a year, but I'm back. Hi, everybody. Okay, it has been way too long since I've checked in here. I hope that you're all doing great for a long time. One of the biggest reasons why, very quickly, is that my dad passed at the beginning of this year. But he passed with dementia, which is more like the long goodbye. And so, our family, extended family, I'm talking about, there are 12 kids left, I think. So, 11 other than me in my extended family. And, of course, we're all adults and we're spread out all over the US. But we had a really hard time of processing that, what was going on. And we came from a dysfunctional family where communication was just not the best. And so we didn't learn the aspects of positive communication and relationships. And so when it came time for a crisis like this for us to all work together, well, guess what? We didn't have what it took to work together. And it was just really, really hard for some of the relationships in our extended family to survive everything that happened, leading up to my dad's passing and then afterward. Whether or not, those relationships are ever going to be able to heal and resume again, it remains to be seen. I don't know. That is a whole other issue. But anyway, suffice to say, it caused a lot of issues and a lot of mental, I want to say, distress, stress, and just confusion. And I just needed to take a step back because I still had all the normal things going on in my life that I needed to take care of: my own family, my children, homeschooling, our business. And I couldn't, with that extra stress, my ability to be creative and my ability to focus on YouTube or anything else just went way down and plummeted. And so I just really needed to just take some time. But here we are, and I really feel like I have progressed to an area that I can resume and get creative again. And that's what I would like to do. Now, I've turned 60 this last month in July. And that for me was really big because when I started YouTube, I was 48 years old. At 48, I still felt like I was still holding on to the 40s, right? And now my body has seen so many different changes. It does not react to the same stuff anymore. It doesn't react to eating, exercise, everything, water, sleep, all the wonderful things that you do. It reacts differently. My body's louder than it ever has been before. So if I'm not doing something right, it yells at me. And so I need to listen more than ever before, I think. And so I've learned a lot. I've been on so many different diets in the past. I mean, you name it. And eating plans, not just diets, but eating plans, ways of life, however you want to look at it. I've tried just about everything, I think. One thing that I think that I figured out after all this time is that I like my freedom. I really like being able to be the one that feels like I'm the one making the decision. I'm the one in control. Yes, I want to look at all the information. I want the best nutritional information I can read and listen to available. And I want to be able to make up my own mind based on that. And what made me feel that way? Now, you know that this channel has been many things. I think when I first started out, way back on YouTube, I was a vegan, and the name of the channel was Vegas Fruity. And that, I still have an email by that name. I did switch, and I ended up becoming Count on Point for so many years because I ended up, between other things, going into Weight Watchers. And Weight Watchers is a really wonderful program for a lot of different people. And it worked for me for a while to help me mostly to maintain where I was. I can't say that I really lost while I was doing Weight Watchers, but I did maintain and it helped me to be conscientious and conscious of what I was having. So for me, I didn't really use it in that way to lose. But over time, I kind of feel like maybe, not just, and I'm not putting Weight Watchers down by saying this, because again, I think it has a lot of good qualities for a lot of people. But hear me out. I kind of feel like when I was using something like that, the apps, it kind of made me feel like when I wasn't succeeding, that it was because I had an inability to be as disciplined and responsible as I needed to be to get that goal. And so I would feel like maybe that's just me. I felt like maybe I just don't have it in me. And so there was always this question in the back of my mind, do I really have what it takes? It seems like right before I disappeared on YouTube, I had done a walking / running challenge. And there's another channel, WWO, and I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, WV Running Dawn. And if it's not that, I will fix it and put it on the screen. But another friend from YouTube who has another channel, and if you're there, Dawn, hello to your whole family. He had a running challenge, walk challenge to raise money for his daughter. And they were raising money for their band to go to, I believe it was a memorial in Hawaii for it was a veterans memorial in Hawaii, and I wanted to do the challenge so that I can donate $1 for every day that I walked. I was going to do it for 30 days, and I did do it, and I was really surprised that I did so many miles. I think I said I was going to do 100 miles in 100 days. No, 100 miles in 30 days, I think is what it was. It was such a long time ago. And I did it, but I ended up donating right to the school because I was kind of late when I finished. And so it still applied to the fundraiser, but I felt bad it didn't go to the students. And his daughter was one of the students that I wanted it to go to her account. But by the time I got done, they took the account off and I had to donate to the school, but I did it. But why I bring that up is because even though I was working out like 3 times a week, how I could, right? I wasn't doing something every single day until that challenge. And then that challenge showed me that I could do something every single day. Okay, so why wasn't I doing something every single day? So for me, it was a pivotal point to up my dedication to my health and working out and moving. And so that's exactly what I did. I changed my 3 times a week workout on strength training to 5 days a week strength training. And then I just did some aerobic activity, a moderate one, not overdoing it, but every single day of the week because it felt good. And one thing that I learned in the walking challenge was that I could get my steps in if I walked after or tried to walk after every meal. And that was my goal. And unbeknownst to me, that also helps regulate blood sugar after a meal. So lo and behold, that was, a great thing, 2 in 1. And so I learned over the last year that I can work out every day, crying out loud. And I keep track of all of my exercises and my routines. So I filled up a huge binder of, keeping track of all of my exercises. And so it occurred to me right before I turned 60, crying out loud, Kat, you have the discipline and the responsibility in you to do anything. You had it in you all this time. Why did you doubt it? Okay, so since that happened and I had that realization, I thought, okay, guess what? I am disciplined and responsible enough to take responsibility over my own nutritional eating standards. and not have to be, I mean, if I want to use something like WW Chronometer, MyFitnessPal, whatever, then that's great and that's a plus. But I still have it within me to be the best that I can be and to make wise decisions. And I can do this on my own. I can do it. I have it within me to do that. Okay, so no more feeling like I'm questioning myself. I'm a smart person. All of the information is available, and I know that I have enough discipline to do this. My husband and I are just finishing a book we're reading together. It's called Pride and Discipline, and it is by it's Jack LaLanne, but it is kind of written through his wife LaLanne's words here and there, and she has a lot of excerpts from his other books and his interviews and whatnot, and it is so interesting. If you ever get to look up some of the interviews from his wife Elaine, Jack has passed now, but he lived to a very ripe old age, and Elaine is in her 90s and she's doing fantastic. Just listening to their sound advice in the wisdom of their years, it really gives you just a breath of, relaxation and kind of reassurance that it's possible to do these things and you don't have to pull your hair out just to be healthy. And so the book again is called Pride and Discipline. I found it on Amazon, and it is just a really nice little trip down memory lane. I remember walking in on my mom. We used to live in the Bay Area in California when we were younger, and I remember things about my parents that my younger siblings don't remember, because they say that every sibling has a different set of parents, because your parents change and grow and turn into different people later on. And so early on, I remember my mom working out with Jack LaLanne in the morning, and she would do all the things that he would tell her to do. He came up with the elastic band, and she'd put it around the doorknob, and she'd stretch, and she had a chair in the middle of the room, and she would do all these exercises, and that was the first time I think I was probably, I want to say maybe 5 or 6. That was probably the first time I ever really saw my parents exercise, or had the idea that people exercised on purpose. And so that made kind of an impact with me, and I just watched this Jack LaLanne on TV and his dog Happy. And I just thought that was the neatest thing, that somebody was teaching other people how to do this, and it stuck in my mind. And so I went back to some of his old videos not long ago, a couple of months ago, and I started rewatching them. And the advice that he gives on those really, really old, it was like one of the first exercise shows ever. It's very basic advice. It doesn't have to be really crazy. You don't have to have a lot of equipment. If you have equipment, that's even better. Most of the equipment that we have in the gym now came from him and his ideas. He didn't patent a lot of these Nautilus type machines. He came up with a protein shake, came up with all kinds of things. But he was so busy just taking care of people and showing them how to take care of themselves, he didn't spend a lot of time patenting some of this stuff. We do have a Jack LaLanne juicer, which I don't use too much, because I really try to do a lot of just the whole fruits and veggies because of the fiber. But it's really interesting if you ever want to get back into seeing what his advice was back in the day. It doesn't have to be really, really complicated. Recently, I started listening to a woman. Her name is I think it's like Ilmi Mintz. I might have got that wrong. I think it's Ilmi Mintz, and I caught her on some of the Facebook type little scroll things, the 2-minute things. And now I found her YouTube channel. She gives advice that is so super duper simple. And I wrote her advice on a sticky note, and I pasted it up on my cupboards. And her advice on portion control, that's her approach, is portion control if you would like to lose weight. And it is as follows. At each meal, like 3 times a day or so, you're going to have 1 cup of veggies, 2/3 cup of protein, a 1/2 cup of a carb, whole grain, or beans, and 1 cup of fruit. And that's going to be what you do. Just going to do that over and over again. I think one day a week she refeeds where she'll have like a treat, right? Something that she'd like. And I think that's really good advice. I didn't think it was going to be enough food, but I started doing that, and because I just want it to be simple. I want life to just be simple now so that I can just enjoy it. And lo and behold, it is a lot of food. This morning I couldn't even finish my blueberry oatmeal. It was absolutely amazing. I could not even taste the cauliflower in it. I put cauliflower in my oats because I wanted to get my 1 cup of veggies in, and I wasn't adding my veggies at breakfast, and I think it was leaving a little bit of a hole. So I wanted to do that and up my fiber. So since then, I've also been trying to add beans in as much as possible, because I've learned that I think 2 tablespoons of cooked beans added sometime in your day actually decreases your chances of all-cause mortality by like 16%. And to me, every percent is worth it, especially as we're getting older. So yeah, bring on the beans. That's great. Most of the time, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with egg yolks because they're full of nutrition, but while I'm losing weight, and toning up, I like to keep with the egg whites. And that's one thing that I learned that LaLanne did, was most of his protein came from fish and egg whites. And that's really what he relied on. And he was a vegetarian from a very young age. And so I think at one point he gave up the fish. But anyway, very interesting. So there's nothing wrong with having egg whites if you just want to have those. And I think if your body responds well to egg yolks, then, add that. But that's the one thing that I think at this point in my life, I really realize is that you have to listen to your own body and what it's saying to you. And just because you're the same weight or the same weight and height as somebody else, it doesn't mean that your body is going to react the same way that theirs does to the same type of food. And it's one thing that I need to keep in mind, because when you look at different diet plans and different nutritional eating habits, people who adopt this one type of habit will say, everybody should be this. And another one, well, everybody should be this. Well, you should take all this out of your diet. You should take all that out of your diet. And I think you just need to see what your body does with that type of food or without that type of food. And, there are these couple of doctors, one of them is from Britain, one is from India. They got together. The names just elude me right now, but there's this big study that they're doing to find out why people develop diabetes. And what they're finding out is in India, the kids were being born, I guess, at a lower birth rate. Now, this is how it started. The 2 doctors found out they were exactly this. They had exactly the same BMI, but one of them, when they got the DEXA scan, which kind of like looks for the fat in your body, one of them, the one that was from India, he had like over double the amount of fat that the other doctor had in his body, which made him more susceptible to diabetes. And from the same, to look at them both, you'd think they were completely the same. You wouldn't think that one of them would develop more than the other, but lo and behold, he would. And so, they're trying to find out, okay, why is that? Why is it that, diabetes has reached a huge epidemic proportion in India at this point? And what I guess the hypothesis is that the kids that are born at a low birth rate, low birth weight in India, so maybe the moms didn't get as good nutrition while they were carrying the child, and the children are, even though they're born smaller than the kids that were born, say, in England, they're born twice as small, they still had like double the amount of fat in their little tiny bodies than the ones that were born in England, the kids that were born in England. And so they're thinking that, it had something to do with that, and then also that the mom had maybe low B12 at the time. And so that's what they're looking at. It's going to be like 5 years until they find out, after tracing, all of the subjects, whether or not that is indeed true. But again, the reason why I bring that up is because no two bodies are going to react the same. There's all these other background histories that come into play and why your body's reacting a certain way. Now, when I started exercising more, guess what? Well, of course, I don't know, many of you might know that I have familial hypercholesterolemia, which is the genetic form of high cholesterol. So my number is usually around, I want to say 380 or so. It's close to 400. For me, that's normal. That's a normal number. But my doctors wrestle with that from time to time, and one of them, the last one, wanted to put me on statins again, and I told him this time I would take it just to see what it does. And I know what it does. I've done that before. It will take it down a notch. The minute I stop, it climbs right back up. Doesn't matter what I'm eating. But it makes him happy to do that. I also started in the last year a very low dose, the lowest dose of metformin. And that's because no matter what I was doing, it seemed like my A1C started to climb a little bit. And no matter what I did, I really couldn't bring it down more than 0.2 points. And so my doctor explained that, the mechanism for controlling that, it kind of wears out over time. It's kind of hard to keep it down as we get older, and that they're finding out that a low dose of metformin is usually a lot better for overall health to just keep their clients on for now. And so I agreed to go ahead and go on that. And my A1C is, I believe it's 5 point, I want to say it was 5.5, but it started climbing again to 5.7. So we're watching that. Hopefully I can keep it down and keep it out of the pre-diabetic range. But again, welcome to 60, right? Things don't work like they used to. And I really try to stay with the whole food. So what I wanted to do was invite you to come along on my journey, and I'll just show you what I'm having every day and maybe share some recipes with you. And if you want to take some and glean some, then that's great, And if I learned something new that I think maybe you might want to look into, I'm not giving any medical advice. I'm just taking you along with my journey. You've got to speak to your own doctor about your own health, and you've got to work it out. So no medical advice here, just sharing a journey and wanting to make some friends again and build a community. And if you'd like to be part of that, I hope that you will. Go ahead and subscribe. Click the like button. It'll really help me out because I've been gone so long. I have to start all over again with building up my my algorithm choices and all that stuff with YouTube. So that would really bless me a lot. So, as well as your presence to coming back. So I will see you next time, I hope, and have a wonderful day. Breakfast is egg whites and asparagus, whole grain toast, and an apple. Lunchtime here is whole wheat spaghetti, lean ground beef with some sauce, and a salad. And I have a cup of pears here for dessert. I needed a snack before dinner. I have 2 Wassa crackers, 2 tablespoons of PB Fit, 1 teaspoon of regular peanut butter, and I'm going to hydrate this with a little water, spread it on my crackers, and use some of the Skinny Girl jam. And I also have 1 cup of almond milk, and that's going to be my snack. Dinner is a homemade whole wheat tortilla. I've got turkey. I'm using some of the tzatziki and fat-free feta sauce, and it is fat-free feta cheese, excuse me. This I got from Sam's Club, and it's only 30 calories for 2 tablespoons, and it really does flavor up this turkey taco here really well. So good. Oatmeal always fills me up in the morning, so I've got a half a cup of oats. I'm going to use a cup of riced frozen cauliflower because I want my veggies in my breakfast as well right now. I'm going to use about a cup and a half of water, and then I'm going to add some cinnamon, a little bit of pure vanilla, and probably like a teaspoon. But I kind of just want this as a base for what I'm having today. I'm going to add frozen blueberries. Normally I'd prefer fresh, but they're kind of hard to get right now. I'm also having egg whites. Oh, this is going to be so good and so filling. I'm using 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal on top, some of this brown sugar swerve, and I'm having a great breakfast.